Rats. All right, so this topic is called finding zeros by factoring. First of all, what is a zero? Well, we know that this is a cubic. And so from our understanding of end behaviors, this graph looks something like this. And any guesses as to what a zero is when you're looking at this graph? Just take a guess. Yeah, okay, so this is very complicated. This is what Esme is doing. She's going like this, and then she's trying to point to that point. So I think she's trying to say, like this thing, and that thing. So these are zeros. I guess you could just call it a plain old zero, and all together they're zeros. Now, we talked about this before. Traditionally, cubics are going to have 3 answers, but can anyone think of a case for a cubic where there would be 2 answers? What about something like this? Here, there'd be only 1 0 here, and then another 0 here. Can you think of a case when there's only 1 0? It would look exactly like this, but exactly, this thing right here would be moved up. So something like so here would be a 0. So when I ask you to find the zeros, I'm really asking you, where does the graph cross the x-axis? More importantly, I'm asking you, when is the function 0? What is the x value for which our function would be 0? Right, because this would be a y value of 0. It would be some x value that makes my function 0. All right. So let's go ahead and let's solve this. This will be our first time doing this. What do you see that's in common here? An x. So we're going to pull out an x. It's going to be x squared minus 1x minus 2. Go ahead and get that down. All right, now we have to kind of do a throwback to when we were doing virtual learning and we learned how to do this. We need to factor this. So we have to put an A here and an M. So I've got to think of 2 numbers. Those 2 numbers have to add to minus 1 and multiply to minus 2. Don't say it out loud. Let people think about it. What do you guys come up with? I heard it, yeah, 1 and negative 2. Let's check that. Is 1 plus a minus 2 this? Yep. 1 times a negative 2 this? Yep. So now, we can go ahead and have this as x plus 1, x minus 2. So we've done half the problem. The problem says find the zeros by factoring. Well, guess what? We're done the factoring. Now we need to find the zeros. So we have to come up with what are the x values so that when we plug into this, we get a 0. I'm going to say that one more time. It's so important. What are the x values so that when I plug into this, I get 0? Okay, what do you think one of the x values is going to be? X equals what?
1.
Yeah, let's try 1. So that's going to be 1 here. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Is 1 times 2 times minus 1 equals 0? No. Okay, so that's not an answer, but it was a good guess. Go ahead and give me another guess. It's okay if it's wrong.
What did you say first?
What's that?
You said 1?
Yeah.
Negative 1?
Let's try minus 1. So if my x is minus 1, I'll have a minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 is 0. Minus 1 minus 2 is minus 3. Is minus 1 times 0 times minus 3 equal to 0? Heck yeah, it is. Any number times 0, and it does not matter what these two values are, is going to give me 0. This was correct. So we know that x equals minus 1 is a correct answer. Meaning, we know that we're going through minus 1. So think about the pattern here. Someone just said minus 1, and it's interesting because we got the 0 from here. What would this number have to be to get a 0 in here? 2. Yeah, so x equals 2 is also an answer. Let's check it. If x is 2, we get 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. Is 2 times 3 times 0 equal to 0? Yeah, so we have 2 answers. We have gotten an answer from here and here. We've not gotten an answer from here. What would our x value be here to make this 0? Yeah, don't overthink it. X equals 0. Okay, so we have 0 for x is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 minus 2 is minus 2. Is 0 times 1 times minus 2 0? Sure. So those are our 3 answers. And those 3 answers represent 2 things. First of all, they represent what our graph looks like. We know that we are going through minus 1, 0, and 2. So we're going through minus 1, 0, and 2. Pretend like I actually went through that. So that's what we know our graph looks like. Minus 1, 0, and 2. But also importantly, we know that these are the numbers that if I plug 0 in, I get 0. If I plug negative 1 in, I get 0. If I plug 2 in, I get 0. For the first time in your math life, you actually just solved a cubic equation. Forget about those people down in that low Algebra 1 class. They're solving this. That's a linear equation. Last unit, we solved this. That's a quadratic equation. For the first time ever, you just solved a cubic equation. Yes! Yes, I was cool in high school. All right. All right, let's try the next problem. Go ahead and get this down.